System 7, the principles when we talk about duplication, edification, no crosslining, and consultation. Let's zero in on no crosslining. Now let's define first what crossline and sideline are. Sideline is a noun. It's a person, right? It's a place, it's a thing. In our business, sideline is anyone that's not your upline or your downline. So all of those that are not either in our upline, our senior partners that have come into business before us, or those that are in our team. Now, working with sideline is crucial. It's a key component of being a team player and locking arms with those not only in your area, but domestically and then globally. Sideline is a partnership that we lock arms with, and together we can go out and do more than we could ever do by ourselves. Now let's define crossline. Crosslining is a verb. It is the action of sharing any of the vitals of our business or even personal vitals that would ever put someone in a position where they would feel less than or smaller. I'm speaking to myself or the other individuals that may be in the room or maybe in an individual conversation. No crosslining protects us so that we can actually work together with our sidelines. Let's be honest. I know I find myself at times comparing myself to others. And when I do, it's really a no-win situation. That we know that when I hear a story, that it can slice either down or it can slice up. Now for a few examples of what crosslining could be like. Crosslining would be the act of de-edification. Anytime that we would speak negatively about the company or the products or our upline or our downline. Anytime we de-edify something, we bring it down in the light of anyone else and in ourselves. We want to refrain from speaking negatively about anything in our business or anyone. Additionally, crosslining would be the sharing of any of the business vitals or anything that's behind a password. An example, our income, our organizational volume, the number of executives that we have, the number of individuals that we have at an event. This creates a situation when we share these items that someone would compare themselves to us. Regardless if we're moving faster than them or slower, it can create a story that has the opposite effect of what we really desire. And that is that anyone can be successful at this business at whatever pace they move, as long as they never quit. Let's look at another example. Maybe an example of a situation where at an event or even out of an event where several people get together from different sidelines, where they speak about non-edifying information or crosslining information that would be around their family, around friends, around the business, that honestly would be better if it was remained private or shared with an upline for consultation. Now, crosslining can be the act of actually listening to this information or actually presenting this information. So as leaders of self and acting with the other principle of edification, we want to take responsibility for that situation on either side and refrain from participating, whether the receiving end or the giving end. Now, an example of how to actually deal in these situations is to just actually ask when you're experiencing a crosslining situation or the sharing of information that is de-edifying, that we would just ask them to refrain from sharing this type of information, and let's look on a solution versus focusing on the problem at hand. Another great example and a very common situation that happens as your leadership develops and you find yourself in the front of the room or traveling in support of your team in the different markets is that you can be approached by prospects that are looking at the business and they want to be locked arms and supported by what they perceive to be the best leadership. And they may perceive you to be that leader because of you being in the front of the room. Very commonly, I've been approached by someone to ask me, if they could be a part of my business. And the most edifying position in respecting our sideline is to respond in a manner that we Find out who the individual is that actually recommended this opportunity to them. Who's the individual that sent them to the meeting? Maybe it's in a different city, maybe it's in a different state or a different country, and actually direct them back to that individual. Because they're the ones that make the invitation, they're the ones that deserve to sponsor that individual regardless of wherever they live. To work locally and grow globally, we must lock arms and work with our sidelines, because it's impossible for us to be all places at all times. That we work with that abundant mentality and be able to support people around the world, whether they're in our organization or others, is a vital piece of our business. One of the pieces that's not our responsibility as a sideline is to give consultation or coaching or guidance in the business outside of the framework of System 7. We want to direct individuals back to their upline for that consultation and for that coaching. So when you're approached by other team members from your sideline, it's most respectful to find out who that individual's upline is and guide them back to their upline for that consultation and guidance in the business. Now, very commonly, that you'll find what we would perceive as orphans in the business, that they don't feel as if they have an upline. This is a great opportunity to find out who their upline, Blue Diamonds and Team Elites are, as we all have one, that they can ultimately connect with. I had an experience with an extraordinary new Team Elite that is making huge impact on the markets around the world, named Maria Gracia. Maria approached me at an event early stages in her business, and she asked me for some consultation and some coaching on the business, asking who her upline was, and ultimately going up multiple generations and not finding out that Team Elite extraordinaire Eileen Williams was her upline. I guided her back to Eileen. I connected the two, and a relationship began to foster that supported Maria Gracia with the support and help of her team and our partner and her upline, Eileen Williams, that ultimately has resulted in Maria Gracia's success. Not because of Eileen, but because of a result of those two working together and myself being able to be a piece of that was respecting my sideline and putting the two together. To put a bow around no crosslining, it is in protection of our business that we can grow and that we can do more together and truly be a team player.